Aarushi Talwar, May 24, 1994 to May 16, 2008, was a 13-year-old student at the Delhi Public School. She was the daughter of a dentist. Couple, Dr. Rajesh Talwar and Dr. Nupur Talwar. The family lived in an apartment in Sector 25, Yalvaya Vihar, of Noida, Uttar Pradesh, India. Rajesh and Nupur practiced together at their clinic in Sector 27 of Noida. They also saw patients at the Fortis Hospital, where Rajesh headed the dental department. In addition, Rajesh taught at the ITS Dental College in Greater Noida. Anita and Praful Durrani, another dentist couple and close family friends of the Talwars, lived in the same city. The couple shared the Noida clinic with the Talwars. Rajesh and Anita worked at the clinic in the mornings, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., while Praful and Nupur worked there in the evenings, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. The Durranis and the Talwars also shared a clinic in Haus Khas, area of Delhi. Yamprasad Banjade, better known as Hemraj, was the Talwar family's live-in domestic help and cook. He belonged to the Rapani village in the Argakanchi district of Nepal. Events preceding the murders. The murders on the night of 15 to 16 May 2008 were preceded by the following events. Before 9 p.m., May 15. On May 15, 2008, Nupur Talwar worked at her clinic during 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. She picked up Aarushi from school at 1:30 p.m. and returned to their Yalvaya Vihar apartment. Nupur's sister-in-law Vandana Talwar, wife of Rajesh's brother Dinesh, joined them for lunch. Then Nupur and Vandana left, while Aarushi stayed at home. Nupur worked at the Fortis Hospital from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. She returned to the apartment around 7:30 p.m. Rajesh Talwar taught at the ITS Dental College from 8:45 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and then attended patients at the clinic until 8:30 p.m. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Rajesh and his driver Umesh Sharma returned to Yalvaya Vihar around 9:30 p.m. Sharma dropped Rajesh in front of the apartment building and drove away to park the car at the house of Nupur's parents, which was at a walking distance. The Talwars did not have a garage. Sharma returned to the Talwar residence around 9:40 p.m. to hand over the car keys and Rajesh's bag to Hemraj, who had cooked the dinner for the family. Sharma saw Nupur and Aarushi near the dining table, and Rajesh coming out of his bedroom. He was the last known outsider to see Aarushi and Hemraj alive. 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. According to the Talwars, after the dinner, they went to Aarushi's room, and gave her a Sony DSCW-130 digital camera. The camera had arrived earlier that day via courier and had been received by Hemraj. Rajesh originally planned to give it to Aarushi on her birthday, May 24, but Nupur persuaded Rajesh to give it to Aarushi that day as an early birthday surprise. Aarushi clicked several photographs of herself and her parents, the last one at 10:10 p.m. Subsequently, Aarushi's parents retired to their room, while Aarushi remained in her room. 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. According to the parents, around 11 p.m., Rajesh asked Nupur to switch on the internet router, which was in Aarushi's room. When Nupur came to Aarushi's room, the teenager was reading Chetan Bhagat's The 3 Mistakes of My Life. Nupur switched on the router and returned to her own room. Around this time, Rajesh answered a call from the US on the landline phone, kept in the couple's room. This indicates that the ringer was not silent. Rajesh then surfed some stock market and dentistry websites, and sent an email. He visited an email site at 11:41 and 53 seconds p.m., which is when the desktop and the laptop show the last internet usage. After 12 a.m., May 16. Around midnight, Aarushi's friend Anmol tried calling her on her mobile as well as the Talwar residence's landline. The calls were not answered. Around 12:30 a.m., he sent her an SMS message. This message was not received by Aarushi's phone. The internet router was used for the last time at 12:08 a.m. Based on this, CBI inferred that Rajesh was online until 12:08 a.m. The exact sequence of events between midnight and 6 a.m. could not be determined by the investigators with certainty. According to their post-mortem reports, Aarushi and Hemraj were killed between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. The apartment. The 1,300 square foot apartment had 3 bedrooms, including servant's room, a drawing room and a servant's quarters, where Hemraj slept. Rajesh and Nupur slept in the master bedroom, while Aarushi slept in an adjacent room. Hemraj's room had a separate entry from outside the apartment, it also opened into the apartment from inside. The entrance to the Talwar's apartment at Yalvaya Vihar had 3 doors, the outermost grill gate, a middle mesh door, and the innermost wooden door. The middle door and the wooden door were attached to the same frame. Hemraj's room had 2 doors, one door opened inside the apartment, and the other door was located between the 2 grill doors. The Talwars had the outermost gate removed a year after the murders. Discovery of Aarushi's body. On May 16, 2008, the family's housemaid Bharti Mandal, 35, rang their doorbell around 6 a.m. She had been employed 6 days earlier. Every day, Hemraj would open the door for her, as Nupur and Rajesh were late risers, but this time, nobody opened the door even after she rang a second time. She later stated that she tried pushing the outermost gate, but it did not open. After Bharti rang the doorbell a third time, Nupur opened the innermost wooden door. Speaking through the mesh of the middle grill door, she told Bharti that this door was locked from outside. She asked Bharti about the whereabouts of Hemraj. When Bharti said that she had no idea, Nupur remarked that Hemraj must have gone outside to fetch milk and must have locked the door from outside. She asked Bharti to wait outside until Hemraj returned. Bharti did not want to wait and asked Nupur to throw the keys. Nupur asked her to go downstairs so that she could throw the keys to her from the balcony. Nupur then called Hemraj's mobile phone, but the call was abruptly cut. When she tried calling him again, the phone appeared to have been switched off. When Bharti reached downstairs, Nupur asked her to go back and check if the door was just latched, not locked. Bharti insisted that Nupur throw the keys anyway, so that she wouldn't have to take the stairs again, in case the door was locked. Nupur then threw the keys down to Bharti. According to the Talwars, by this time, Rajesh also woke up. He entered the living room and saw a near-empty Scotch whiskey bottle on the dining table, which surprised him. He asked Nupur who had kept the bottle there, and then alarmed, asked her to check Aarushi's room. Aarushi's room had a self-locking door, and it would generally be locked. It could be opened only from inside or from outside with a key. But the couple found it unlocked on that morning. When they entered the room, they saw Aarushi's dead body lying on her bed. Rajesh started screaming, while Nupur remained silent, due to shock, according to her. Meanwhile, Bharti returned to the outermost gate, she pushed it, and it opened without the key. She found that the middle door was latched, but not locked. She opened the latch and walked in. When she entered the apartment, she saw Rajesh and Nupur crying. Nupur asked her to come inside Aarushi's room. Bharti stood at the entrance of the room, as Nupur walked inside. Aarushi's body lay on her bed, it was covered with a flannel blanket. Nupur pulled the blanket, and Bharti saw that Aarushi's throat was slit. Both the parents blamed Hemraj for Aarushi's murder in front of the maid. Bharti walked out of the apartment to inform the neighbors. She returned to the house and asked the Talwars if they wanted her to do the daily household chores. When they said no, she moved on to work in other households. The Talwars called their family and friends. Panish Rai Tandon, a neighbor who lived 1 floor below the Talwars, asked the Yalvaya Vihar security guard Virendra Singh to inform the police. By the time the police arrived, there were 15 people in the living room and 5 to 6 people in the Talwar's bedroom, only Aarushi's room was vacant. The crime scene had been completely trampled upon. The story of a murder in an affluent neighborhood also attracted many media persons, who gathered around the house by 8 a.m. Hemraj as the suspect. On May 16, the missing servant Hemraj was the prime suspect. In his police complaint, Rajesh blamed Hemraj for his daughter's murder. He repeatedly told the police to pursue Hemraj instead of wasting time in the apartment, and offered them 25,000 rupees to rush to Hemraj's native village in Nepal. The police suspected that Hemraj entered Aarushi's room in an inebriated state after consuming Scotch whiskey, and tried to sexually assault her. When she resisted, he killed her with a kukri, a Nepali knife. The police announced a reward of 20,000 for tips leading to his capture. Aarushi's body was taken for post-mortem around 8:30 am by two Uttar Pradesh police constables. Rajesh's brother Dinesh Talwar, his driver Umesh Sharma and his childhood friend Ajay Chadha accompanied the constables. Around 1 p.m., the body was brought home and placed on ice slabs in the living room. It was taken for cremation at the Antim Niwas crematorium around 4 p.m. According to the Talwars, who were later accused of being in a hurry to cremate the body, it was decomposing fast, and the family elders were pushing for cremation. In addition, the police confirmed that the body was not needed for any further examination. The police later alleged that the Talwars' domestic staff showed undue haste in cleaning Aarushi's room. In Talwar's defense, their compounder Vikas Sethi told the court that he had received the permission to clean the house from the police personnel and a lady constable present on the crime scene. A part of Aarushi's blood-stained mattress was cut out and sent to the forensics lab along with her pillow, bed sheet, and clothes. Vikas Sethi later testified that he, along with 3 others, tried to dump the remaining part of the mattress on the terrace, but found it locked. An old lady then told him to put the mattress on the neighboring terrace. Rajesh's driver Sharma then asked the neighbor Panish Tandon for the key to his terrace. Earlier, at 4 p.m. also, Sharma had asked Tandon for the key, saying that he needed to dump the ice brought for Aarushi's body. This time, Tandon opened the terrace himself. Sharma, Sethi, and 2 others dragged the mattress to his terrace. Tandon then locked the terrace door. None of them noticed the body of Hemraj, which was lying on the adjacent terrace, separated by a grilled wall. According to CBI, when the post-mortem report was being written between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. on May 16, a series of telephonic conversations had happened between Dinesh Talwar, Dr. Sushil Chaudhary, Dinesh's friend and the chairman of the IKRI hospital, and K.K. Gautam, retired deputy superintendent of police. K.K. Gautam, while deposing at the CBI court later in 2012, stated that Chaudhary had requested him to get any references to a sexual assault removed from the post-mortem report, but he refused to oblige. He told the court that he had mentioned this incident to the first CBI team, but they left out this information from their records. Discovery of Hemraj's body. On the morning of May 16, the visitors to the Talwar's house noticed some bloodstains on the terrace door handle. Rajesh's former colleagues Rajiv Kumar Varshni and Rohit Kochar later told the police that they saw bloodstains on the terrace door, its lock, and the staircase leading to the terrace. While visiting the Talwar's house, Varshni had taken the stairs to the terrace by mistake. However, several other witnesses testified that they had not noticed any bloodstains on the staircase in the morning. These witnesses included several police officers, Umesh Sharma, Panish Rai Tandon, Bharti Mandal, and Vikas Sethi. Thus, the bloodstains might have been left by the group that tried taking Aarushi's mattress to the Talwar's terrace. Kochar stated that the bloodstains on the terrace door were brought to the attention of a police constable named Akhilesh Kumar. Praful Durrani, who also visited the house, claimed that the policeman initially dismissed the spot on the terrace door as rust, and was also dismissive of the bloodstains on the floor. According to Varshni, the police told him that the killer must have tried to escape through or hide weapon on the terrace, but returned after finding it locked. Eventually, the police were persuaded to investigate the terrace, but they could not get the key to the terrace door. Rohit Kochar later testified that when a policeman asked Rajesh for the terrace key, he went into the house and did not come out for a long time. Varshni told the court that Rajesh went towards staircase and immediately returned and went inside the house. Rajesh later stated that he does not have exact recollection of what happened at that time, but he insisted that he never stopped the investigators from visiting any part of the house. Ultimately, the police were unable to open the door and let it remain locked until the next day. Superintendent of Police, SP, Mahesh Mishra testified that he had asked for the terrace door to be opened on May 16. However, his subordinates told him that Rajesh Talwar couldn't find the key and they couldn't find a mechanic to break open the door. He also stated that he had filed a report on this carelessness with the Senior Superintendent of Police, SSP, Noida. On the morning of May 17, Rajesh and Nupur Talwar left for Haridwar to immerse Arushi's ashes in the Ganges River as per the Hindu custom. Several visitors continued to arrive at the Talwar's house, which was being managed by Dinesh Talwar, with their condolences. These visitors included retired police officer KK Gautam, who had been requested by Sushil Chaudhary to come to the Talwar's house. After arriving at the house, Gautam examined the rooms of Aarushi and Hemraj. Dinesh then showed him the blood stains on the terrace door handle. According to Gautam, Dinesh requested him to get the terrace door unlocked. Gautam then called SP Mahesh Mishra, and told him that the lock needed to be broken. Mishra promised that he would himself visit the crime scene, and meanwhile, sent the station officer Dataram Naunaria to the apartment. The key to the terrace was still missing. Anita Durrani asked the Talwar's neighbor Punish Tandon if he had a duplicate key to the Talwar's terrace, to which Tandon replied in the negative. Ultimately, Dataram Naunaria broke open the lock. As the group entered the terrace, they saw bloody drag marks. A body in advanced stage of putrefaction was discovered lying in a pool of blood at about 10:30 a.m. Dinesh Talwar couldn't identify the newly discovered body, and called Rajesh and Nupur, who were on their way to Haridwar, asking them to return home. Meanwhile, SP Mahesh Mishra also reached the spot. When the couple arrived at the home, Nupur didn't enter the house. She sat in the car with Arushi's ashes, as she considered it inauspicious to take the ashes inside. Rajesh went upstairs to identify the body. He told the police that he couldn't be sure that the body was that of Hemraj, due to the injuries and the decomposition. Later, a friend of Hemraj identified the body as his. Rajesh and Nupur later resumed their journey to Haridwar and returned the same day. At Haridwar, Rajesh entered the time of Arushi's death as 2 a.m. in the priest's records. An autopsy of Hemraj's body was conducted at night by Dr. Naresh Raj. Evidence gathered. The UP police did not cordon off the crime scene immediately, and many people, including the media, were freely roaming in the apartment without any permission when the forensic team arrived to gather evidence. According to the CBI team, 90% of the evidence at the crime scene was destroyed due to the police's negligence. The injuries. According to their post-mortem reports, both Aarushi and Hemraj died between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. Both had been first attacked with a heavy blunt weapon, which caused a U/V-shaped scar and resulted in their deaths. Then, their throats were slit with a sharp weapon. There was no sign of asphyxia. Injuries on the victims' bodies. Aarushi Hemraj. Blunt injury. The blunt injury was on Arushi's forehead, above the left eye. The CBI closure report also mentions an injury on the occipital bone, but according to the Talwar's lawyers, the only injury mentioned by the post-mortem report is one on the left parietal bone. The blow had caused a deep cut of the size 4 cm x 3 cm, and a blood clot of the size 8 cm x 2 cm in her brain. The blunt injury was on the back of Hemraj's head. Incised neck wounds. The incision on Arushi's neck measured 14 cm x 6 cm. The blood had drained from the neck cuts, and there was no arterial spurting, indicating that these wounds were caused after the blunt injuries. Hemraj had identical cuts on the neck at the same position. Weapon used for inflicting the blunt injury. A typical golf club, picture used for representational purpose only. In May 2008, the forensic scientists stated that Aarushi was first assaulted with a heavy sharp-edged weapon. The first hit on the forehead resulted in her death within 2 minutes, as indicated by the blood clot size. In 2012, after Aarushi's parents were charged with the murder, the CBI claimed that according to the experts, the dimensions of the striking distance of one of Rajesh's golf clubs was identical to the dimensions of the injuries found on the bodies. Dr. Sunil Dawar testified that the weapon used for the U/V-shaped injuries could possibly be a golf club. The defense argued that the CBI officers had drawn the words golf club from Dawar's mouth. Talwar's lawyer stated that Aarushi had had a hairline fracture, and produced the forensic expert Dr. R.K. Sharma, who told the court that this fracture could not have been caused by a golf club. Weapon used for slitting the throats. A typical kukri, picture used for representational purpose only. The weapon used for slitting the throats of the victims was never found. The identical measurements of the lacerated wounds indicated that the same weapon was used on both the victims. In May 2008, the forensic scientists remarked that the wounds displayed a clinical precision and careful thought, as they were inflicted at the right spot to cut the windpipe and dissect the vital left common carotid artery which supplies oxygenated blood to the brain. Initially, when the Noida police first suspected the parents, they stated that the weapon used was a surgical knife. By June 2008, the CBI's suspicion had shifted to the three Nepali men, and the weapon was believed to be a kukri, a type of Nepali knife. The second CBI team returned to the surgical instrument theory. In 2013, CBI told the court that according to the faculty at the Talwar's alma mater Maulana Azad Medical College, their dental students were taught surgery. The defense argued that a dentist's scalpel has a cutting surface of about a centimeter, the instrument is too delicate to cut through the carotid artery. According to the defense witness Dr. R.K. Sharma, the wounds could have been caused by surgical scalpel number 10, not used by dentists, or a kukri. Aarushi's room. Aarushi's body lay on her bed, covered with a white flannel blanket. Her face was covered with her skull bag. There was blood on the pillow, the bed, the walls, the floor, and the front side of the bedroom door. However, there was no blood on the toys, the skull bag, and the pink pillow kept on the back of the bed. These items were within the range of the splashed blood area, which indicates that they were placed on the bed after the murder. Aarushi's body lay undisturbed on the bed, and the bed sheet was laid out smoothly. According to the CBI, no blood stains were found on the book The 3 Mistakes of My Life, which Aarushi was supposedly reading before her murder. Aarushi's body. The 2008 post-mortem report written by Dr. Sunil Dawar marked Aarushi's genital area as nothing abnormal detected, thus ruling out a sexual assault, but also noted the presence of a whitish discharge at her vagina. The whitish discharge sample was sent for pathological examination at the local district hospital, which reported absence of semen. However, later, in 2009, when this vaginal swab sample was sent to CBI's forensic labs, it was suspected to have been tampered with, see below. Ultimately, the CBI concluded that the sample had got contaminated, but not deliberately tampered with. Later, gynecologist Dr. Urmila Sharma testified that the whitish discharge is normal in 13 and 14-year-old girls after the beginning of a menstrual cycle. The bed sheet had a wet circular mark below her pelvic area, which was not urine. There was no such wet patch on her pajamas, which were untied. No urine or any other bodily fluid was found on her underwear either. The lower garments of Aarushi appeared to have been pulled up or pulled down, as her buttock cleavage was visible. CBI suspected that her pelvic area was swabbed clean, and the pajamas were pulled up afterwards. Later in 2012, Dr. Dawar stated that Aarushi's private parts were extraordinarily dilated, although there were no signs of rape. He stated that her hymen was ruptured and that it had an old tear. He also stated that her vaginal orifice was unduly large, the mouth of her cervix was visible and the whitish discharge was confined to the vagina, when it should have spread to the entire area. Dr. Dawar stated that he had not mentioned these observations in his original report, because these were his subjective findings, and because the findings were non-specific and were very strange. He added the wide vaginal opening found on Arushi's body could have resulted only when someone manipulated it while the rigor mortis was setting in. He thus concluded that Arushi's private parts appeared to have been cleaned after she died. Hemraj's body and the terrace. Hemraj's body had been dragged at least 20 feet on the terrace after his death, American Samoa, evident by a blood trail and abrasion contusion on his elbows. The body was lying on the left of the roof entrance near the external unit of the air conditioner, AC, and was covered by a panel from the roof cooler. The body appeared to have been dragged towards to AC unit, as the quantity of blood was more near the AC unit. An expert from FSL Gandhinagar as well as a team of experts from CFSL concluded that the drag mark on the roof resulted from a blood-soaked body being dragged after being kept in a bedsheet. This raised suspicion that Hemraj might have been killed somewhere else, and his body dragged to the terrace in order to hide it. However, in June 2008, CBI's UV light testing team reported that it didn't find Hemraj's bloodstains anywhere except the terrace. So, unless the killer cleaned up the original murder spot, Hemraj seems to have been killed on the terrace. The blood found on the staircase leading to the terrace on May 17 might have come from the mattress that the cleaners were trying to dump on the terrace. A double bed cover was draped upon the iron grill that separated the Talwar's terrace from the neighboring terrace. The investigators found a smudged blood-stained palm print on the terrace wall. The blood was later identified as that of Hemraj, but the print could not be identified. The police also photographed a blood-stained shoe print on the terrace. The shoe size was 8 or 9. According to the Talwar's lawyer Pinaki Mishra, those who had found Hemraj's body saw hair in his mouth, possibly that of his killer. However, the police did not check this. Unlike Arushi's body, which had undigested food in the stomach, Hemraj had just 25 ml of liquid in his stomach, indicating that he did not have dinner. This evidence was also supported by the fact that his dinner was found untouched in the kitchen on the morning of May 16. In 2012, during proceedings against Arushi's parents as suspects, Dr. Naresh Raj told the court that Hemraj's penis was swollen when his body was brought for autopsy. According to him, this meant that he was either in middle of a sexual intercourse, or was about to have one. The defense lawyer cited a medical book which stated that the swelling of penis after death was normal. In response, the doctor stated that his conclusion was not based on any medical authority, but on experiences from his own married life. Hemraj's room. On July 1, 2008, the first CBI team recorded a statement by KK Gautam, describing Hemraj's room as he found it on May 17. According to the statement, Gautam saw 3 glasses, 2 of which had some quantity of liquor in them, while the third one was empty. He also found 3 bottles, Kingfisher beer, a Sprite, and Sula whiskey. Later, DNA of Hemraj was found on the Kingfisher bottle, although according to CBI's investigators, he was a teetotaler. Gautam also visited the servants' toilet where he found urine of more than one person. According to the statement, he also saw a depression on Hemraj's mattress pointing to the presence of 3 people in his room. However, in 2012, Gautam told the court that there was no liquor in any of the glasses. He also stated that he had not suggested presence of 3 people in the room, based on the state of the mattress. When questioned about the discrepancies, he stated that the investigating officer should be asked why his statements were not recorded correctly. He stated that an officer from the first CBI team distorted several things he said, added things he did not say, and produced a statement that suited the line of investigation at the time. The doors and the keys. There were no signs of forced entry into the apartment, and the middle grill door had been found latched from the outside in the morning. There were 2 known sets of keys to the house entrance. One set was with the Talwars, and another with Hemraj. Nupur threw down one bunch of keys to the maid on the morning of May 16. According to the CBI, Nupur had taken these keys from Hemraj's room. According to Nupur, Hemraj's keys would usually be kept on the sideboard, but she couldn't find them on that morning, so she threw down her own keys to the maid. The question whether this key was that of Nupur or Hemraj was initially relevant to the investigation, as there were reports that the middle grill door had been locked from outside with a key. If both the keys were inside and CBI was right, it could mean that the parents locked the door, then went inside their apartment through Hemraj's door, which they locked from inside, in order to mislead the investigators. However, later, the maid Barty's testimony in the court established that the door was merely latched from outside. Thus, if the killers were not the parents, they could have shut the innermost wooden door, which automatically locked when shut, and then latched the middle grill door from outside. When the maid, Barty, visited the house on the morning of May 16, she tried to push the outermost gate but could not open it. When she came back at the gate after collecting the bunch of keys, which Nupur had thrown down, she could open it by pushing it. The CBI theorized that the gate was originally latched from inside. When Barty went down to fetch the keys, Nupur came to the passage via Hemraj's room, and unlatched it. In September 2012, the defense claimed that the maid Barty Mundal was a tutored witness, as she told the court, "Jo Samyahagaya Wahi Bayandarahihu, I am saying whatever I was explained." However, Barty denied that she had given any incorrect statement under CBI's pressure. The defense stated that this door was not closed, and presented Rajesh's driver Umesh Sharma as a witness, who stated that this outermost door could be opened by pushing it hard. The key to the terrace door was never found. According to the Talwars, this key was present in Hemraj's bunch of keys, which went missing after the murders. The door to Aarushi's room, and the main door of the house, would lock automatically when shut. Aarushi's door could either be opened from inside, or from outside with a key. Usually, her room would be locked at the night, and its keys would be at Nupur's bedside. There was no sign of forced entry in Aarushi's room. On the morning of May 16, the key was found in its shoe-shaped key ring, on top of a framed wall sculpture near the house entrance, in the living room. Nupur later told police that she was not sure whether she closed Aarushi's door the last time she entered the room at 11 p.m., and if she did, she might have let the keys hanging in the key slot. She claims to have stated this in several lie detector, brain mapping and narcoanalysis tests that she cleared. In 2013, the SP Mahesh Kumar Mishra told the court that, on May 16, 2008, Rajesh Talwar claimed that he had locked Aarushi's room from outside at 11:30 p.m. on the previous night. Rajesh also told him that he had forgotten to lock his own bedroom door from inside, and someone could have stolen the key to Aarushi's room from his room. Phone records. Both Aarushi and Hemraj had mobile phones, and both the phones disappeared after the murder. Hemraj used a Tata Indicom mobile with the electronic serial number #20CFA3EC. The SIM card was registered in name of Rajesh. On May 15, Hemraj had received 2 calls from the Talwar's clinic. The first call at 4:58 p.m. lasted for 10 minutes, and the second call at 5:37 p.m. lasted for 2.5 minutes. Rajesh was working in his house Cause clinic at the time, while Nupur was in another area of Noida, Fortis Hospital, as indicated by her mobile phone records. The Talwar's defense lawyer later claimed that Krishna Thatare was working in the Noida clinic at that time. The last call made to Hemraj during his lifetime was at 8:27 p.m., and it lasted for 6 minutes. The call had been made from a PCO in Sector 31, the PCO was located a kilometer away from the Talwar's apartment. The investigators were unable to determine who made this call. The phone records confirmed that Nupur called Hemraj's phone from the Talwar's landline at 6:01 a.m. on May 16. The call was picked up, but disconnected after 2 seconds. This call was the last received on the phone, which was somewhere in the coverage area of the Nathari village cell tower 1362/254. The cell tower had a radius of around 1 kilometer, and covered the apartment complex in which the Talwars, and Thatare, lived. The police therefore suspected that the killer was present inside the house or in its vicinity on the morning of May 16. Hemraj's phone was never found, but according to the CBI, the number was briefly active in Punjab. Aarushi Last transaction on Arushi's phone during 15 days preceding her death. Daytime last activity. May 1st 11:22 p.m. SMS received. May 2nd 12:50 a.m. SMS received. May 3rd 12:58 a.m. SMS received. May 4th 12:30 a.m. SMS sent. May 5th 11:49 p.m. SMS received. May 6th 12:12 a.m. call received. May 7th 12:39 a.m. SMS received. May 8th 12:19 a.m. SMS received. May 9th 12:39 a.m. SMS received. May 10th 12:39 a.m. SMS received. May 11th 11:29 p.m. call received. May 12th 11:20 p.m. call received. May 13th 12:25 a.m. SMS received. May 14th 1:08 a.m. SMS received. May 15th 9:10 p.m. SMS received. Aarushi used a gloss black Nokia N72. She would usually chat with her friends on phone until past midnight. However, on the night of May 15th, her mobile phone was inactive after 9:10 p.m. According to the investigators, some of her friends had tried to contact her, but found her mobile phone switched off. The police suspected that either the battery of Arushi's mobile phone had died or it had been confiscated by this time. Around midnight, Arushi's friend Anmol tried calling Aarushi on her mobile and then on the family's landline, but there was no response. Anmol sent an SMS message to her mobile phone at around midnight. According to the phone records, this SMS was not received by Arushi's phone. A few days after her death, Arushi's phone was found on a dirt track by a housemaid named Kusum, near Noida's Sadarpur area. The phone was possessed by her brother Rambhul since May 2008, but he started using it only in February 2009, when he bought a new SIM card. He used it intermittently. On September 12, 2009, the police traced the phone to his residence in Bulandshahr, and recovered the phone from one Jitendra whom he had just sold the phone to. Kusum and Rambhul were taken into custody for questioning, but the CBI determined that they had no role in the murders. They were not aware that the phone belonged to Aarushi, and had no malafide intention in keeping it. The police did not find a data card, pictures, or text messages on the recovered phone. Family's landline. The family's landline phone was kept in the bedroom of Rajesh and Nupur Talwar. According to the investigators, Anmol called the landline phone around 11:30 p.m., and the call lasted 34 seconds. However, Rajesh denied any knowledge about such a call. Anmol also dialed the family's landline number around midnight. After having failed to reach Aarushi on her mobile, there was no response. The Talwars say that Aarushi would sometimes turn off the ringer on the landline at night, and she might have done it on that night too. The neighbor Panish Tandon later told the court that when he visited the Talwar residence on the morning of May 16, he asked Nupur's father if he had called the police. Nupur's father told him that the landline was out of order. Rajesh's mobile phone records do not indicate anything out of the ordinary. The tower location indicates that he was at his residence. He had exchanged 16 calls with his fellow practitioner Anita Durrani until 8 p.m. At 9:50 p.m., he called the Impressions traders in Mumbai, from whom he had ordered Arushi's camera through India Times Shopping, probably to ask about a camera feature. At 10:04 p.m., he received a call from the father of a patient, who had an appointment on the next day. At 10:06, he called Dr. Mridul Seth to consult on a surgery scheduled on the next day. At 10:15, he received a call from Vika Sethi, an employee at his house Cause clinic. At 10:38, he received a call from a UAE number. At 10:54 p.m. and 11:01 p.m., he made calls to the American Academy of Implant Dentistry, Chicago. The next call from his mobile was at 6:19 a.m. on the next day, after the discovery of Arushi's body. Nupur's mobile phone was switched off from 7:40 p.m. on May 15 to 1 p.m. on May 18. The call records showed that it had not been switched off even once during 60 days preceding the murder. Claims of threat to Hemraj's life. According to the police, Hemraj had told some of his friends about a threat to his life. Although Hemraj's son-in-law Jivan denied any knowledge of such a threat, a social worker Isha Thakur confirmed that 5 days before his murder, Hemraj had told her that he feared for his life and that of some of his near and dear ones. Later, she told the investigators that she could not do anything for him that day, since she had rushed to Bangalore due to a family emergency. Nearly 3 years after the murder, in March 2011, Hemraj's wife Kumkala, a resident of Nepal, came to India. She moved a plea at the CBI court in Ghaziabad, alleging that she suspected the Talwars to be the murderers. She stated that Hemraj treated Aarushi like his own daughter, but had strained relations with Rajesh. She claimed when Hemraj visited Nepal in December 2007, he had described Rajesh as a short-tempered person who rebuked him for trivial things and even chased him to beat him up. She also claimed that Hemraj had called her from a PCO 15 days before his murder. He told her that Rajesh and Nupur suspected him of leaking their family secrets. When Rajesh's brother Dinesh visited their house, he also looked upon Hemraj with suspicion. The three threatened to kill him, if he dared leak the family's private information to the outsiders. According to her, Hemraj was frustrated with the Talwar's behavior and was searching for a new job. Hemraj's wife also claimed that Hemraj had not sent any money back home since December 2007, and had told her that he had kept the money with the Talwars. But the Talwars did not send her Hemraj's dues after his murder. When asked why she had not made these revelations earlier, she stated that she had faith in India's judiciary until that point. Her lawyer stated that she came from a poor family and had little awareness. Other evidence. Hemraj had apparently served himself dinner in a plate around 10:30 p.m., but never ate it. His bed was still tidy in the morning, indicating that he didn't go to sleep on that night. A Ballantyne's Scotch whiskey bottle with bloodstains was found on the dining table. The bloodstains were confirmed as that of Aarushi and Hemraj by a DNA expert. The Scotch whiskey bottle came from a minibar concealed behind a wooden panel, so it appears that the person who took it out knew the house well. The bottle was seized on the morning of May 16, but no clear fingerprints could be recovered from it. Constable Chunilal Gautam took the first photographs of the crime scene and collected fingerprints on May 16. The police had gathered 26 fingerprints from the crime scene. According to a CBI official, 24 of these were gathered through wrong methods and could not be preserved. Only 2 fingerprints were suitable for evidential purposes, but these did not match with any of the suspects. Chunilal did not take fingerprints of Aarushi. Aarushi's camera had photographs numbered 13, 15, 20, 22, and 23. This indicates that at least 23 photographs had been taken using the camera, out of which 18 had been deleted. The CBI considered the possibility of the photographs having been deleted by someone other than Aarushi. Nupur suggested a simpler explanation. Aarushi took several pictures, and deleted the ones she didn't like. At around 3:43 a.m., nearly 3 hours after Aarushi's murder, the internet router in Aarushi's room switched off. The CBI produced a technical expert from CERTIN who stated that the switching on/off of the router after a long gap can only happen due to either a power cut or manual intervention. There was no power cut on the night of the murders, a fact attested to by the electricity department. The router was next switched on at 6:01 am. However, the router switched on and off a number of times with long gaps throughout May 16, even when the police and the visitors were present in the apartment. The CBI concluded that such unexplained router activity made this piece of evidence unreliable. Previous servants as suspects. The discovery of Hemraj's body had greatly embarrassed the police, as their initial investigation focused on him as the murderer. The police were also criticized for other investigation lapses, such as not cordoning off the crime scene. The investigating officer Dataram Naunaria, Noida Sector 20 police station officer, was shifted on May 17. The next day, Superintendent of Police, City, Mahesh Mishra was also transferred. On May 19 the police named the Talwar's former Nepali domestic help Vishnu Sharma, alias Vishnu Thapa, as the suspect. Vishnu had worked as a servant and a clinic helper for the Talwars for 10 years. He would go on long vacations. Each time, he would replace himself with a distant relative. When he left for a vacation 8 months before the murder, he introduced Hemraj to the Talwars as his replacement. However, when he returned, he found himself out of job. The Talwars preferred to retain Hemraj as a permanent employee. The police suspected that an angry Vishnu might have killed Hemraj for usurping his job. Aarushi might have been killed for being a witness. Vishnu was taken into custody, along with former servants of the Talwars. However, the police were unable to find any evidence that connected him to the murders. It was confirmed that he was in Nepal on the day of the murder. Parents as the suspects. On May 21, Delhi police joined the UP police in the investigation. By this time, the police as well as the media had started suspecting the parents for multiple reasons. The distance between the beds of Aarushi and her parents, in different bedrooms, was around 7 to 8 feet. Yet, the parents claimed that they didn't hear any noise and slept through the murders. There was no sign of forced entry into Aarushi's room, which would usually be locked at night. Someone outside the room could open it only with a key usually kept beside Nupur's bedside. The parents could not explain how the murderers gained access to this key, which was found in the living room after the murder. On the morning of May 16, Rajesh asked the police to stop wasting time in his house and pursue Hemraj instead. He even offered to cover the cost of police's visit to Hemraj's native village in Nepal. This offer was seen as a diversionary tactic. Rajesh ignored the police's request for the key to the terrace door. An attempt had been made to hide Hemraj's body, as evident by the fact that it had been covered with a cooler panel and that the iron grill separating the adjacent terrace had been covered with a bed sheet. The police suspected that the Talwars planned to blame Aarushi's murder on Hemraj, and hid his body on the terrace for disposing of it later. However, the media glare and a constant stream of visitors made it impossible for them to get rid of the body. When Hemraj's body was discovered, Rajesh told the police that he could not identify it. The crime scene had been dressed up. Aarushi's bed sheet remained undisturbed, and her body had been covered with a white flannel blanket. There was no blood on the toys, the skull bag, and a pink pillow, indicating that these items had been kept at the crime scene after the murder. The family allegedly showed undue haste in cremating Aarushi's body and cleaning the crime scene on May 16. According to some of the visitors, the parents did not display shock or grief. SP Mahesh Kumar Mishra claimed that the Talwars looked very nervous when he questioned them on May 16. During 16 to 17 May, a series of telephonic conversations happened between KK Gautam, Dr. Sushil Chaudhary and Rajesh's brother Dinesh Talwar. Gautam later alleged that Chaudhary, a friend of Dinesh, had asked him to get any reference to a sexual assault removed from the post-mortem report. Hemraj had spoken of a threat to his life before his death. The police suspected that he knew about Rajesh's alleged extramarital affair, and Rajesh had threatened him not to talk about it. Accordingly, the police started investigating the parents as the suspects. On May 22, Meerut Inspector General Gurdarshan Singh speculated about a scenario where Hemraj was the main target of the killing, but stated that no arrests will be made without evidence. Possible sequence of events according to Inspector General Gurdarshan Singh, May 22. Hemraj knew about Rajesh's alleged extramarital affair, and was blackmailing him. Rajesh took Hemraj to the terrace on the pretext of discussing the issue. Rajesh killed Hemraj on the terrace. Aarushi was killed for being a witness and for objecting to her father's affair. That's all for today. That was a long work. Like and subscribe please. Until next time, your friendly neighborhood random guy.